Okay, so we have two pizza restaurants, Pie Crust and La Pizza. They have to decide whether to advertise or not advertise. We have a payoff matrix. That means it's an oligopoly. By the way, you should pause this for a moment and try to work this out before I start writing on this. So I'll give you a second to look at this. Okay, so we're told that Pie Crust's daily profit is the first entry in each cell. And I have the advantage of using some colors here, so I'm going to go ahead and say Pie Crust is red and the first number in each cell, and that means La Pizza is blue and the second entry in each cell. So they want to know what strategy should Pie Crust choose. Should they advertise or not advertise? If La Pizza chooses to advertise. So La Pizza's advertising. Pie Crust must choose between advertising or not advertising. Advertising is $250, not advertising is $180. So in this case, the bigger payoff, $250, means that Pie Crust is going to choose to advertise. And we've explained that their payoff is higher, 250 rather than 180, by choosing to do this strategy. Then in B it says, what is the dominant strategy, if any, for La Pizza? So let me change colors here. La Pizza must choose advertise, not advertise. So if at first Pizza Crust decides to advertise, then La Pizza chooses between advertising 200 or not advertising 300. They're going to choose to not advertise. If Pie Crust doesn't advertise, La Pizza must choose between advertising 500, not advertising 400. They would choose to advertise. Since La Pizza's decision about advertising depends on what Pie Crust does, on one hand they choose to advertise and on the other they choose not to. There is no dominant strategy for La Pizza. Part C says, in the Nash equilibrium, determine each of the following: Pie Crust's daily profit and La Pizza's daily profit. Well, we just said that La Pizza does not have a dominant strategy. We should check to see if Pie Crust does. So Pie Crust chooses between advertising or not advertising. When La Pizza advertises, Pie Crust is going to want to advertise. 250 is bigger than 180. When La Pizza does not advertise, again, Pie Crust would advertise. The payoff is 450 compared to 390. So Pie Crust is going to advertise, and when they advertise, La Pizza, when they are faced with the choice there, they are going to not advertise. So that actually means we're in this cell, and so therefore Pie Crust's daily profit would be 450, and La Pizza's would be 300. In Part D, suppose that advertising costs increase by $60 per day. Redraw the payoff matrix to reflect the effect of the higher advertising costs. Okay, so to redraw, we're only concerned with changing the payoffs where advertising played a role, since in the bottom right cell, neither of the two advertise. The value of the payoffs there are unchanged. In the case of the advertising, when they both advertise, we have to subtract 60 from both payoffs. So we would have 190 and 140, and then the first number in each row is the cost to or the payoff for pie crust. So pie crust originally had a payoff of 450 in the upper right, but now 450 minus 60 makes their new payoff 390, and the second number was for La Pizza. They are not advertising, so that stays the same. Pie crust is not advertising, so their payoff would stay as 180 here in the bottom left, but we have to subtract 60 from La Pizza's payoff in that cell, and since it was $500 minus the 60, that would leave them with a payoff of 440. So the new values would be as shown here. Again, you only make the $60 adjustment to the payoffs where either Pie Crust or La Pizza were advertising, and you leave those payoffs that were for not advertising the same as they were before. And that's it.